Dulci Hill. Let's see. All right. Did I get all of my, let's see, look at my background. All right. I've got a lot to cover today. And let me just share this. And let's see. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about Ampyra today. Uh, let's see. Okay, I'm going to share this in a couple groups. Okay, so if you don't like it, just kick me out. I've been kicked out of a lot of places. Uh, okay, so I'm talking about Ampyra today. Why am I talking about Ampyra today? Because a number of years ago, I was on it for so long, and then the generic came through, and then it was supposed to be $80 a month copay, and then when the generic came through, insurance stopped paying for. Hi, Paul. And I saw that Patty was here too. Anyway, so I was on it for years, and it's so much when you have MS, right? So much is just doing what the doctors tell you. It's hard enough to live life without MS. Uh, then all of a sudden it's like you're dealing with stuff like muddy dog paws on the floor. Just you're dealing with that, changing your sheets, doing the laundry. So when old school, we used to hire doctors who would tell us the best medication to take. So fast forward neurologist told me I need to take Ampyra to walk. So I used to take this to walk. Well, one of the things that the generic and with Ampyra is it's the walking medication. It's the very medication. It's got a chemical in it. And what they discovered is that farmers would use the chemical to put it all over their farms, and what happened was when birds fly down and start pecking at the seeds, it had the dust, this Ampyra type dust on it that would overstimulate the nerves of these little birds, and it would cause them to die. Just the nerves would just light up, and they'd be fried. So Ampyra, what somebody sat back, because in all good things, somebody sits back and looks at poisons and think, well, maybe if we do a little bit of that poison into people who have a rough time getting their nerves to work, maybe if we give them a little bit of that poison, hi Ruth, maybe if we give them a little bit of that poison, it'll make their nerves work better. Well, it's true. They saw in the mice and mouse models, they were giving them the same poison that was killing birds in a little bits, and it helped. Well, the problem is that too much of that poison caused seizures. So that's why every 12 hours they say maintain this I call it nerve crack, right? It's nerve crack. It's MSG for your nerves. Ampyra. All right, Ampyra. All right, MSG. It's caffeine for your nerves, wakes them up. So what happens is that they notice that, and doctors decide to, it got FDA approved. They're going to prescribe it to those of us whose legs says, you know what, I don't want to walk anymore. I want to trip over, drop foot, knee, hip flexor, all that stuff. I want to do that. Nasty little secret is that if whenever Empire, when you go to renew your order, Sarah, and that's good. That's good, Sarah. When you go to renew the order, it there is questions that they ask you. Number one, you always have to tell them that it's working for you, because the minute you express your true feelings, I'm not sure if it's working or not. The minute they're like, well, you know what, we don't. Hi, Maureen. We don't want pay the copay on it. Don't, if you feel it's working for you, tell them at all costs it's working. All right. If you're not sure if it's working, like me, I realized that the copay was really expensive. Really. So I decided about 3 years ago that I was going to stop taking it. Guess what happened? God works in wonderful, mysterious ways. Uh, Brian was down in the basement, we're cleaning out stuff, and he found a prescription for Ampyra. Guess what? The expiration date is. The expir date March of 2022. So it's 1 month's worth, and I've got what a wonderful, hi Dee Dee, what a wonderful opportunity for me. I haven't been on it 3 years and it's still good to slowly take it in fact, I took it 9 o'clock this morning, and I'll take it 9 o'clock tonight, every 12 hours. And I'll let you know how it works. Again, it's if it's supposed to stimulate these nerves, it's nerve crack, right? Think of Ampyra as nerve crack. All right, just I'll let you know, because uh, the horse is out of the barn. It is, which brings up the second issue that I'll talk about a little bit. Does any of you ever sit on the couch? Ever sit anywhere? Lay in bed, like this morning, I was laying in bed, neighbor had an issue, uh, was nerve crack. Yeah, what, and all of a sudden you think, what's the point? I've on Facebook, I have, yeah, what's the point of any of this? What's the point of getting out of bed? What's swimming? What's the point of taking, I, and you sit there and you're like, I hate the way I feel. I know it goes against the bookmarker where I'm supposed to practice gratitude, but you know what? If I hate the way I feel after 37 years of having multiple sclerosis, if I know that there are times that everybody who's here hates the way they feel. It just, and it's so important for us smoke and mirrors to hi Karen, hi Ruth. It's so Chris. Yeah, Chris, I haven't seen you in ages. But anyway, so does it work? So what I'd like to know from you guys is, do you take Ampyra, and how does it work for you? And how do you know it works for you? Um, and what do you do to change your reality? Just when feel you don't feel like you're part of the process anymore. It's like, you're just going through the motions. making dinner, feeding the dogs, doing the water change. Uh, uh, to talk to me. Um, Chris, all right, you have all over Facebook. You've got a puppy that you're trying to get the most votes. Oh, Rob, you know what? And that does it for me. Rob just said, "Hello, Dulcie." He's telling me I'm looking good. You always I always put a smile on their face. All right, I don't. You know what? Okay, so Chris is sharing with us that she has officially been diagnosed a neurologist with progressive relapsing remitting. Progressive. What does that mean? And I mean, you know what? When they try to pigeonhole me and they tell me, your MS is this type, I ask more questions. Really? Why do you say that? And what is progressive relapsing remitting? I mean, depending on the website you go on to, it means different. It means different things. All right. So Sarah's talking about not taking you know what, Sarah, and not taking Ampyra. All right, to read what she's saying, she said she did not take uh, Ampyra 12 hours, so she missed a dose, and it left her in pain. And I will tell you that 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 is not consistent with what the medication does, right? It does not relieve pain. If anything, uh, nerve crack or Ampyra, right? Walking nerve crack, well, it wakes up your nerves a little bit. So you have to ask yourself, I mean, logically, anything that wakes up your nerves is going to make you feel more, right? You feel your leg more. You feel so it's not necessarily that doesn't add up. It's hi Gina. Gina, I was talking about Empire. I found Brian found this in the basement, uh, in some storage stuff, and it expires next week. Uh, all right, so Chris is asking everyone who's watching. She's got MS. She's got a beautiful dog named Maybelline, and Maybelline is on a Facebook pet contest, and she has 7 days to get everyone to vote. All right, so you will. All right, so put on the link that people can vote for your pooch, Maybelline. Yeah, all you know what, and baclofen is like baclofen kind of numbs the nerves a bit, so you're not spastic, so you're not tree trunk, Barbie girl, Barbie boy, Ken boy, right? Straight arms, that kind of stuff. Gabapentin is a painkiller. Gabapentin is anti seizure medication that works by blocking the brain's ability or brain, you don't perceive you're in pain as much. Problem is this gabapentin, also known as Neurontin, has side effects, and a lot of us don't like those side effects, right? What is a substitute for gabapentin when you're not feeling well? You know what? What's a substitute, right? Lyrica. All right, call your doctor and ask. And Lyrica. Uh, but you got to be, as your doctor, as your, but then again, each person is different. You're made perfect with a combination. I mean, I like to look at life as a bowl of soup, a stew you're making, because I'm a cook, I'm a foodie, right? You add a little bit of tomatoes, add some salt, pepper, a little sugar. Uh, so you add different things. Different people react differently, or each person reacts differently to medication. Uh, I have not taken Ampyra for 3 years. About that, it's bizarre that we would find a. It's not generic, and I was taking the generic 10 milligrams. It's bizarre. I mean, talk about it's not odd, it's God, right? So I started taking that this morning. Um, Real quick, all right, what is progressive? I've got to. All right, so progressive relapsing. All right, progressive. All right, here we go. And I think see that, and now they're saying progressive. All right, so PRMF. Maybe I had progressive relapsing. It says progressive relapsing multiple sclerosis was described in 1996. Steady or worsening neurological function from the beginning with occasional relapses. Uh, all right, and so when your neurologist says, "Yeah, I think that you've got progressive relapsing MS." My question is, are you say that, right? But how how is it different than active aggressive multiple sclerosis? How is that relapsing remitting? Uh, how is that different? Progressive relapsing MS. Uh, all right. You know what? And that was me as well. Uh, Active aggressive. I needed to constantly be on medication to prevent attacks. Otherwise, uh, I had that catastrophic attack. And the problem is the catastrophic attack I had. Uh, it's one thing to be able to have the energy to walk. It's quite another thing to be so dizzy that when you use a walker, which I have behind me, right, right there, that walker, it's a narrow walker. I can follow. I fall off. I mean, with that walker, if I would take it outside, I would take the walker, and I fought a lot on that walker. Richard gave me a real wide heavy walker, and it's so wide and it's so heavy that I can go to fall and hold on, and it will hold me up, and that's huge because people say to me, "Well, you're still walking. You're doing great. You're doing great." And I know you've all heard that. I don't know. People walk up to you and they say, "Hi, Kevin. You're doing great. You're doing great. You have MS. You're doing great." It's like I have stopped them and said, "I appear to be doing great." But and they, you have to be careful when you say that. I appear to be doing great. And then they throw something else. They return. So they said, "Really, tell me, what is the worst part?" And you know what? That is your chance to just say, "You know what? I know my movie. I know my pain." And it is more important to listen to what you're going through. For me, just I have to get out of myself. Let's see. You know what, Chris? I was on uh, active aggressive MS is what I have. I've got more brain lesions than brain, and I've got cervical spine. Uh, That's right. And it's, but you know what, everybody, and I have been touting this since I started the YouTube page. And I've been touting that when in doubt, when in doubt, it's better to err on the side of caution. I don't know, but you know what? We all have our choice. Hi, Phil. We all have our choices. Is it I know so many people early on that said, "I'm not doing any medication for MS. You know, the medication will kill you. The Ampyra will kill you. The nerve crack, it'll kill." All right, I know that I have been on every medication since 1993. Beta Seron was approved. I was in the lottery to get that. I have fought with both in the shotgun with it double loaded since the beginning. Since the beginning. It is, hi Lori, it is amazing to think how bad, I'm just thinking how bad I'd be if I didn't take anything. You know what? When Johns Hopkins took me off Gilenia, and waited till my lymphopenia came back before they put me on rituximab. When they waited 6 months, 6 months. In those 6 months, I knew I had active aggressive MS. In those 6 months, I get my blood work. It wasn't returning. Guess what happened? In 6 months, I had such a bad attack that you see the scooter behind me? Brian had to tie me to that. I couldn't sit up. No longer did I know which way was up. It I've like a frog in a pot of boiling water. I'm so dizzy that I, I'm getting kind of used to. You get used to. I remember we were on Friday. We were on a cruise, and the seas were angry, and everybody was sick. Everybody was seasick, and I'm walking with a walker, no, with a wheelchair. I'm pushing the wheelchair and I'm walking, and the world was rocking. And Brian needed the Benadryl, and he was in bed, and he said, "I don't get you. You're always dizzy. Why are you okay?" And said, you know what? You know what? Just see, you get your feet moving. Guess what? I said to him, that's the way I always feel. So I'm on study anyway. So it was 6 months. They didn't put me on medication. She erred on the side of of, of caution and caused me to have a really, really bad attack, which required, what was it, 7,000 milligrams of, 7,000 milligrams of steroids to stop the inflammation. And then the rituximab was started right away. A oncologist, oncologist looked at my blood and told Hopkins I was safe to do that. No, just, yeah, the new normal. And you know what? God bless the MS Society, because the MS Society uh, came out with a campaign years and years ago. It was called Resilience, and it's basically, Summer Lady, it's you get used to the new normal, right? And the new accepting and dealing and maximizing the new normal is resilience. It is not laying back and saying, you know what, I'm not playing anymore. No, it is finding Ampyra, after not being on it for 3 years, trying it. I have a new neurologist. I got rid of the one that was not aggressively handling MS. I have got a new Daniel Becker, and let's see, just wonderful, wonderful. And Ocrevus is good, and I'm on rituximab or generic. It just one so angry at MS that I put on my meds, ended up in the. All right, Chris says she got so angry with MS that she quit all of her meds and ended up in the hospital on prednisone infusion for a week. You know what? My favorite medication I had taken was Tisabri. It's the only disease modifying medication that shows that there is a 10%, 10 to 20% uh, feeling that you're doing better than you think you are. And that smoke and mirrors, right? Smoke and mirrors, you feel better. And I love Tisabri. Why they take me off Tisabri? Because if you've ever been treated with Navantrone, it increases your risk of PML. Uh, uh, yeah, it increases, which is the brain infection that can kill you, right? So increases that. I've been on Tisabri for 6 years, so that increases your breath. So one, two, and I was JVC positive, uh, which a lot of people are JC. That increases your risk of having side effects or PML. So my doctors would not let me continue. They said, you have to go off of that. And Tisabri is not too strong. It's what it is Tisabri, and this is back when I was in this study program, the test program. It is a protein that it's like a sponge that covers your brain, and it catches the white blood cells that's responsible for attacking the myelin, right? It catches that CD19 as well, catches them and prevents them from causing damage on your central nervous system. And Gina, that is good. You're not on anything because guess what? If we don't have active aggressive if we don't have a active disease, then if your neurologist has done a bunch of MRIs over the past every 2 years for the past so whatever if there is a track record of you being in remission, uh, uh, then there is again you work with your neurologist. There's a track record of you being in remission. Your neurologist may suggest you not take anything. Uh, but I'll tell you what, ultimately you are the gatekeeper. You are the gatekeeper. You set the boundaries with your body. It also means that we have to make them, even though my neurologist, John Hopkins, said to me, I don't feel comfortable with you taking this new medication because it will put you, if I prematurely put you on this medication without verifying that if I do that without verifying that your lymphocytes are at a certain level, you can catch a infection and die. And I'm more concerned of you dying of infection than you having an MS attack. And that's the truth. That is where my catastrophic attack came from. However, this is where I went wrong. Uh, Old school. Yes, doctor, I'll listen to you. I'll listen to you. Guess what? I knew bad. I should be on medication. I knew. You know your body. We all know our body. Hi, Vanessa. We all know our body, right? Gina, we know our body. Chris, we, you know. So you've got to be quiet and be honest with yourself and tell them where I made the mistake is I needed to say to that neurologist when she says I'm not comfortable with putting you on something that could kill you. I needed to say I'm not comfortable not being on something that could lead to an attack that can make me vegetable. Right? We have to be our own guardians. We have to be honest with ourselves. Now, 3 years ago, when I quit Ampyra because the copay, I had enough going on in my life. When I quit that, it's life is whack-a-mole, right? Whack-a-mole. It's always something popping up. When I quit that, it was too. I quit it because I didn't have the copay for it was too expensive. It was just too expensive for me not being certain. And I live on a severely limited income I just so it wasn't the right time for me to continue on that. But you know what? If Romans 8:28 says God works in all things, God let's see, and we know that all things God works for good for those who love Him and have been called according to His purpose. Now, if that's true, and that's written in Romans 8:28, if that is true, then anything that has happened to us, including my catastrophic attack, why is it that important? Why is it? Yeah, do I deserve to be really healthy? Do I deserve to be unique or special? Uh, Do I, am I more special than any one of you? You know what? I deserve to be healthy because I've got MS Live. Baloney. If all these things work together for good, and we acknowledge one of the things about being just just in bed, just one of the things about facing so much challenges, so much, so much. One of the things is that when you are in the middle of a shitstorm with health wise, finances, with everything. If you're in with walking, when there's no way to look but up, right? When you're on the bottom. So being on the bottom is a blessing. It's a blessing. Uh, uh, and Simran says she's, you know what? And there's levels of JBC or JCV, Jacob, uh, but there's levels of that. So you can have low JBC uh, Richters. You can have your neurologist monitor and still be on Disabri. Again, if once you get the three, I don't know, once you start to get additional risk of having this deadly brain infection, you know what? I went to the Johns Hopkins. I said, you know what? My chances of PML were not 1 in 1,000 anymore, which is the average. My chances of PML, because of all of the risk factors, were 3 in 100. 3 in 100. That's 3%. That's on 0.01%. That's 3%. And I said to the neurologist, I said, I want to stay on Disabri. John Cunningham virus. Thank you, Chris. I want to stay on it. I said, I want to stay on it because it's 97% chance that nothing will happen. Hi, Marianne. 97, and they said, no, we're not going to be responsible for you. We're not going to be responsible for you being damaged by a PML that'll leave you like you would have a catastrophic death. Don't be laughing at me. Don't laugh at me. Whack-a-mole, right? Whack-a-mole. So, all right. God saw in His way this morning to have Brian bring up Ampyra after 3 years, and we'll see, because one of the things with Ampyra is that we say is put it down, don't take it for a couple weeks, and then take it and see if it actually works. Because I know that hi Nasser, there's a lot of us with this disease that are such positive people that placebo. I remember when I lived in Los Angeles or near there, USC. I was being treated there, and I told Dr. Kachuk, my neurologist out there, I said, you know what, people with MS are a lot of us are so positive that if you give us a sugar pill and you tell us it'll cure MS, if you do that, right? If you do that, there is a number of us that will have our MS cured. Do. But you know what, Sarah, you said Sarah, you're talking to Vanessa, and you said that it works, but not for everyone. And how many of us uh, can be truly honest? I'm telling you what, it's Oh, sorry, I got an itchy nose. We have to walk on the wild side of life, right? If we have no choice, once we have this disease, we have no choice but to look at the positives. How can we not look at the positives? Gina says, all right, and Gina is saying Empire either works or it doesn't, and you know right away. If it works, it's worth it. If it doesn't, it's a waste of money. And it's been, I swore it worked. I swore it worked, right? But I have advanced so much in 3 years that I'm telling you what, I'm trying it. I started again last night. What are the odds? You talk about God. What are the odds that this expires 30 days from now? And it's been in storage for a couple of years. What are the odds? What are the odds? And this just pops up. Ampyra. So I am a guinea pig. Again, every single one of us is individual. So it may work for me. It may work for me walking better. Doesn't mean it's going to work for you. I'm just trying this again. Uh, it is worth looking at. Let's all look at what we have to deal with. What we have to deal with. I was sitting on the couch today this morning because my husband wanted to. I get up later than him, but I go to bed much later. I'm a night owl. So he goes to bed about 9 o'clock. I go to bed at 12, and it is. I get up at 9 o'clock. I get out of the bed because it just. I like that. I like that. And I warm up really slow. It takes me a long time to get going. But you have to ask yourself, what is in, I have a medication contain with all of my tricks, all of my, and now they're trying to do the medical marijuana. I will let you know the medical marijuana works for me, has been a success as far as sleep. As far as the daytime, uh, I just don't see it working with me. I like a clear head. There's strains that gives you a clear head, but I don't know. So look at uh, your arsenal because everybody needs an MS arsenal. An MS arsenal might be just loaded up. All right, it's your painkillers. For me, I've got to have painkillers because I'm miserable with pain. Right, energy. I'm sitting this morning before MS Live, and I'm sitting there thinking, I hate the way I feel. I hate the way I've got to put on my makeup and comb my hair and hate. But then again, anybody here, how do you feel? How do you feel? I want to know how you feel. Has it, because depending on how you feel, this is the way now with advanced MS, you've got, I survive. And that's sitting on the couch thinking, all right, my husband says, "Are you going to go to the gym today?" It's and I listened to him and I said, "You know what? I'm going to do MS5. I have got to show up. I've got to, I've got to show up. And then he brings me Ampyra, and it's a good thing. So what it is, look at your medication drawer. You have your Provigil, you have your energy. Uh, so you're sitting there, and a lot of times uh, you don't have the energy to want to get off the couch. What do? I have caffeine, pills. I got on Amazon. There's uh, okay. I just it just yeah, you feel cold. I like that. That's honest. You know what's beautiful about I feel cold? What's honest about I feel cold is it's low hanging fruit. Low hanging fruit. Brian has turned up the thermostat in my house, so I like it about 74 all the time. He's from Lake Tahoe, Nevada. He likes it about 45 all the time. So the other day it was 60 degrees in the house, and there was no way I was getting out of bed. My head was cold. I had the covers on my head, and I said to him, "Bring me a long coat and a hat so I can get out of bed." So cold. I like cold. Cold is like, all right. I'm gonna. Yeah, how do you deal with cold? Put a hat on. It is wear lots and lots of clothes. You can and cold is a fun thing to deal with because it's something that hot is also because either one can be disabling. But we have to manage the things that are easy because the hard things are uh, the hard things are impossible. But Chris, you are also you're what are you're not North yeah, Arkansas, right? Chris, you're in Arkansas. Uh, um, so you have to have it cool. And again, the colder it is, because we live in Maryland. In Maryland, I have a number of us with MS have thermoregulatory disorder. Thermoregulatory disorder is the inability for the body to maintain a temperature. Uh, Normal people have that, don't have that. Their body can be warm or cool itself down. You sweat or you Arkansas, right? Uh, your body, your metabolism, you have to wear all sorts of neoprene to get in the swimming pool. When I get in the swimming pool, even though it's at 83 degrees, I have to turn on the heat. Why? Because my body wants to heat up the water to 98 degrees or 96. My body temperature runs really low. So it's so it's 83 degrees, and that can be hypothermic. Uh, uh, heat heat bothers all of us, but you know what's great about heat is that if we can get in the swimming pool, if we can dump some cold water on it, immediately it shrinks our nerves, and it we can bounce back from being blind or being crippled or being continent. It's the cold water. It's easier to get cool than it is to slowly warm up. Also, people with MS have been known to die in jacuzzis. right? There comes a point where you have to uh, draw a line in a boundary and say, you know what, for self-preservation, I will not get in the jacuzzi. When I'm done swimming, a lot of times I will get out, and all my friends go in the jacuzzi, and it's bad. It's bad because what happens when someone with MS gets in jacuzzi? It feels so good that we'll stay in there until we can get out, and so it's 20 minutes. I can stay in there half an hour. All of a sudden, I can't see. I can't walk. I have no business. Plus, if you get in a public jacuzzi, remember, and you're on these medications, uh, public jacuzzi put you at more at risk. Hi, Doug. Puts you more at risk of picking up an infection. If public, they're public infection pots. Don't do it. Don't do it. I haven't been wearing my wedding ring now for over a month because I sat on the side of the jacuzzi, in the public jacuzzi at the gym, put my feet in there to talk to some of my friends, and I put my hands, because they were so cold, I put my hand in there, and underneath my wedding band, uh, a fungus started growing, and it's like athlete foot, but it's underneath. I introduced something that should not have been introduced. So no hot tubs. Chris is saying no hot tubs, no hot showers, no saunas. Yeah, yeah, I'll tell you what. And when I'm done swimming, and I go back in the locker room. If they don't have the heat on in the locker room, I'll call us, put on the heat, and then I'm gonna get in the shower, and I'll make it really, really hot. It's hard. It's hard. Okay. Yeah, and Sarah is chiming in about cannabis, and she's got the exact same experience. It works at night, but during the day, she doesn't see the benefit. I don't. I don't. You know what, Vanessa? I deal better with heat as well. But Vanessa, I forget. Where do you live? Where do you live, Vanessa? I've got. I heat, heat, heat. It's true. And occasionally Brian will say to me, "You want to take a bath? You want to take a bath? I'll help you in now." And I'm thinking, no, I don't want to take a. I don't want to be naked. Just getting out of the bathtub and then getting dressed, and I even though he talks about me being crippled in that warmth and having that lifeguard have you know even though he talks about that, I feel like, oh, I'm gonna get really cold. I'm gonna get cold for when you pull me out of the bathtub and you put the towel on me. There's a longer time that and more of a chance of me being cold. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I just don't want to do. Oh, Vanessa, yeah, Kansas. Uh, remember when snow was fun? Snow was fun. I'm so sorry. And you know what? In Kansas, I understand. I understand. It's Brian in Maryland is used to adapting. And when we moved from Southern California to Arizona and then to Maryland. When we did that, I had to, for 2 years, I had a mattress warmer, I had an electric blanket. It took so long to get used to this cold. Took so long to get used to it, right? But it's not. I like to think I'm kind of used to it, but honestly, I'm not. I love it when he set the temperature in the house to be at 72 degrees when I got out of bed the other day. I didn't need a fur coat. I didn't need a fur hat. I didn't, just didn't need it, and that's huge. So, and that is huge. Uh, all right, so yeah, the high humidity in Arkansas is a killer. But high humidity anyway. But let me tell you something. High humidity in swimming pools are great because when you get out in a high humidity, you get out of the swimming pool, it's like you feel it's not that bad. But if it's low humidity, you go swimming, you get out of the swimming pool, you've got the evaporative cooling syndrome. You are so cold. Um, when Diana, if Diana was here, she could tell us all if she swims in Arizona. Right now. All right, 68 degrees and in Arkansas right now. Yeah, I'll tell you why. You know what? Your Maybelline is the same age as Winston. Uh, 13. No, I think he's 14. He's 14 months. But anyway, it's 11:57. I will keep you posted on Ampyra. I will also. Uh, I want you guys to ask yourself what is preventing you from doing something you want to do. Ask yourself what's in your emergency kit. Do you have painkillers? Do you have energy pills? Do you have walking pills? Do you have, I don't know, I could have my antidepressants because I, you got to laugh at yourself, right? So for me also, um, I love how God sent me to help people outside of MS. I love that. I love that. The I was talking to a gal. I went to say hi to my mom, and I walked by a gal who thought she had MS, and she's only like 58, and she pulls me aside and she says, "I need a hug." Couldn't remember her name, and I held her. I held her, and I said, "What's going on?" She was just diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease. And she says, "Can you help me? Can you?" Uh, where do we stop and other people begin? What is our business? Where are we part of the comforting versus part of, you know, our self protection? Uh, anyway, Chris, you please let's type in the voting link so we can all vote for Maybelline. Anyway, I love you all. Go to msfrontiers.com and let's sing the game together. It's Thursday. Can you believe how fast time is flying by? I will tell you something. I cut the heck out of my bangs so much that I stopped using the banks. Right? It has been long enough that I was like, why am I pushing my bangs aside when now uh, they've grown to the point of being decent. Anyway, love you all. Love you all. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel on Facebook. Follow me if you're on Facebook. I love you all, and I will see you. Have a wonderful weekend. I will see you on Tuesday, and let's pray us out. Dear Heavenly Father, I ask that you would just fortify each person with that has been here, supporting each other, Lord. Allow us, like in James 4:14, you said, we are just part of the mess. There's freedom about us not feeling we have to be unique, but part of the mold. Lord, help us comfort each other. Help us to grab the right things that will help us be the perfect person you want us to be for others, Lord, and just make it worth it for all of us. In Jesus' name, I give thanks. Amen. Thank you for being here, and and let's all right. Love you all.